Giants have won.
From the mound.
The Giants have won the ball game. Bill Laskey, in his first major league start, has shut out the Montreal Expos.
To the mic.
Friend of the show, let's bring in Bryce Eldridge. Let's welcome in Lee Jung-hoo from Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. He wears number 65, Landon Root.
Well, I appreciate it, Bill. I always enjoy talking to you.
Let's welcome in Wade Boggs. Let's bring in Will the Thrill. He's the ace of the staff. Let's welcome in Logan Webb. Logan, how are you today?
I'm doing good. Good to be on here.
Welcome to Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Giants sweep the LA Dodgers.
Sponsored by Lunardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply the best. Right here on your exclusive home of the San Francisco Giants. KNBR, the sports leader.
2-0 pitch. Ramos swings, grounds it up the middle, but right there at second, Palacios. Near the bag, he'll glove it, throws on to first, and the game is over. Back-to-back losses to begin the series, and 5 straight defeats for the Giants on this road trip. Giants, their longest losing streak now of the early season. Another frustrating night offensively as the Tampa Bay Rays take this one. A final score, the Rays 5 and the Giants 1.
Welcome into an extra inning post-game show with Bill Laskey on a Saturday, and I wish I had better news to give you. As the Giants on this road trip, they went through Philly, lost 3. Now they've gone through Tampa Bay for 2, and they've lost 2, and now we're on a 5-game losing streak. Last night on Sports Phone KNBR, I talked about the 4 straight losses. They've done that 3 times this year. 3 times they've lost 4 straight. And I thought today with Landon Root on the hill and the way he was started off and the way he was pitching, had a good chance of winning this game. But you need to score runs, and you need to score more than 1 run. The Giants just didn't do that today. Matter of fact, they didn't get a person in scoring position till Luis Arraez got a double with 1 out in the 6th inning. That was it. They didn't have anybody on second base to even try to score. And what happened? Rafael Devers hits a ball to left field. Simpson had it in his glove, hits the wall, drops out, and that was the run the Giants scored. When you look at this 2-game series, the Giants are 13 for 63. They're hitting 206. 206 as a team. You're not going to win too many games like that. In 5 losses, they've been outscored 24-8. But I can look at this 8 runs, and 5 of those were in the 3rd game in the 2nd game of the doubleheader. So now you're looking at only 3 runs in 4 games. 2 of those games you got shut out. As you can see where these numbers are falling, this 5-game losing streak is really falling on this offense. And even these guys are trying. We talked about swinging at the first pitch yesterday. Well, today they swung at 3 of them. But the Tampa Bay Rays starting pitchers had 25 first pitch strikes in 34 at-bats. And here was a chance to maybe ambush the first pitch, and they watched it. 1 walk in the entire game, and this is what we're talking about. They can't get people on base. If you can't get people on base, you can't steal a base. And if you don't get on second base, you can't score. And you're not hitting home runs. You only got 19, so what are you doing? How is this team going to bounce back when you're looking at a record of 13-20? You're looking at offense, just numbers that are just ugly. And this road trip is really the one where it started. You look at the homestand, they won 4 out of 6 games. They won 2 out of 3 against Washington. They had won 3 series in a row getting on that flight from San Francisco going to Philadelphia. And what happened? I don't know. I don't think any Giants fan knows. They've been shut out twice. And like I said, they've only scored 3 runs in 4 games. 3 runs. Boy, you can't throw shutouts enough. And I really believe Landon Root felt a little pressure on him today. In that 5th inning, it looked like he just started squeezing. Walked a couple guys, and he was in a nice flow. The 4th inning, an infield hit, a broken bat single, a blue pit, they get a run. And I don't think he was upset. He knew it. You could see the ball come in front of Drew Gilbert. He kind of put his hands up like, man, I thought he could have got that ball. Frustration happens like that. When I pitched in the big leagues, when you're in a tense situation, you start aiming the ball. You're trying to put a 0 on the board every time out there. It's difficult. It's really difficult knowing that your offense is not scoring a lot of runs. You start squeezing the ball a little tighter, trying to make the pitch a little better. You can see on a couple of the curveballs in that 5th inning that we're way out of whack, way out of whack. And instead of a 12-6 flow of the curveball, it was more of a 1-7. So you can see how the spin was different. And I think that's from holding the ball too tight, trying to make the perfect pitch. And then you start looking at what he did. He really threw the ball well. I thought he threw the ball well going into that 5th inning. 1-0, he was only behind. He gives up a double, leadoff double. But I really think the 9th hitter, Taylor Walls, that walk was the one. That walk was the one that put him in a hole first and second. And then we know what Simpson can do. He's fast as lightning. And he laid down just a gorgeous bunt. Chapman just couldn't hold on to it. I don't think Chapman could have thrown him out. I really don't think so. That's how fast Simpson is. So now you get bases loaded, and he walks Mullins. A tight pitch, a little outside, fouled off a couple pitches. But that was the turning point. Right then and there, I saw the shoulders drop. I saw the pressure on Landon Root. He comes back and really threw 3 nice pitches to Caminero. And then Aranda gets a base hit to center field, and it just opened the floodgates. And he was done. At that time, I thought it was a good move bringing him out, and it didn't hurt him because the 3 runs were his earned, and Matt Gage comes in, cleans it up, and they're down 4-0. But 4 runs right now is a huge amount of runs for this Giants team to try to come back on. If he could have got out of that with 1 run, he could have. Double play ball might have, but he didn't. And now we're starting to be fans by going, coulda, woulda, maybe. Could have got a hit. Could have got a double. Could have got an out. Man, I just can't watch games like that. It's not the 7th game of the World Series, but sometimes you're watching these games thinking, man, are they going to come back in this game? Is there a possibility? I don't think there is. And something has to change. What can these hitters do differently? Okay, we talk about the ball about Elliot Ramos. Hit the catwalk. And boy, did you see that dugout? Did you see the anger coming out of that dugout? Did you see the frustration coming out of that dugout? The mildest, Frank Anderson, the mellowest guy in that dugout, gets tossed. Andrew Hauser, a pitcher, gets tossed. Guys are on the fence screaming for a 1 ball? 1 ball that was a home run ball? 1 run? Wow. Is the stress getting this team? Did you happen to see the dugout at the end of the game and all their heads down? Oh, the stress is mounting. The pressure is mounting. And I don't know if they can get out of it. It's going to take more than 1 guy. And right now, this whole team's falling fast. And it's just like what we saw earlier in the year when they struggled. You look at numbers just for the 2-game series, Chapman's 0 for 8. He's 2 for 20 on the road trip. Matt Chapman. His batting average now is about 250, maybe 255. He's gone down from where he was almost 295. And he is struggling. Red face, head down. Oh, yeah, the pressure's mounting. Other players, yeah, I don't want to start reading numbers because the numbers don't lie. When I say they're 13 for 63 in a 2-game series, hitting 206, I think that's what we need to deaden. I don't want to count numbers, start putting knives in people back. We know this whole team is not hitting. We are lacking production from 1 through 9. And that's this team's too good for that. This team should not be dwelling on 1 run or 2 runs a game. This team can score 3, 4, or 5 runs. We just haven't seen it here on this road trip. They started this road trip 6-6. Now they're 6-11. Wow. That just amazes me. It really does. You walk into Philadelphia, they're 9-19, and you lose 3. You come into Tampa Bay knowing Tampa Bay's pretty good, and you hold their offense down. You really do. They give up 3 yesterday. They give up 5 on 1 unearned run. So they're in the game. The pitchers are doing their job. It's just you got 1 run. The Giants scored 1 run in 2 games. And this has to change. What can happen? I don't know. I think the best thing they can do is get home and start talking about it, maybe changing some players, getting some hot hitters from AAA up, making some changes on this roster. But Buster Posey's in a corner now. Do you bring up Bryce Eldridge? Do you bring up Jesus Rodriguez? Do you bring up a couple hot hitters that are hitting the hell out of the ball in AAA? Do you give them that opportunity now to say, hey, we need some life? Because right now, this roster isn't doing it. This 26-man roster is not doing it. This 13-man roster is not doing it. The pitching, I think, is average to above average. I really do. But the offense, below average. Out of 30 teams, if you look at all their stats, their batting average is maybe 25th, 26th. Stolen bases, 30th. Walks, 30th. It is a shame that I can't say that these hitters are better than they are, because they're showing us they're not. So let's get on the phone calls. I'd love to hear what you have to say, Giants fans. I'd love to hear some ideas what they could do, because they got 1 left. 1 game left. And then the rest of May is going to be pretty much the NL West. I'm Bill Laskey. This is the Extra Inning Postgame Show. 415-808-KNBR. Let's get the phone lines ringing, and let's get some thoughts on this team and what can they do to change. We'll be right back right here on KNBR.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM. The sports leader.
Next pitch, a swing and a line drive, base hit into center field. Gilbert up with it. Walls has scored. Rounding third, Simpson. He'll score easily as Gilbert's throw into third. The big hit in the inning off the bat of Jonathan Aranda, one of the top RBI men in the American League. And now it's 4-0 Rays.
All right, back on with Bill Laskey, an extra inning post-game show. Tomorrow, Giants' first pitch, early one, 10:40 a.m. as they get the road trip done. Hooray. Let's see if they can come up with a W. Tyler Mahle on the hill tomorrow. 1-4 record with a 5.8 earned run average. I love to see him what he did against the Dodgers, if you remember. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs. And then he backed it up in Philadelphia and didn't throw well. 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs. Just a dubber for him. Now he's going up against Steven Matz. Steven Matz, a left-hander, was a reliever. Now he's a starter. 4-1 for the Braves, 4.3 earned run average. The only thing going for the Giants, he's given up 6 home runs. So hopefully the Giants can maybe hit one tomorrow, or 2 or 3 or 4. But I'll be watching just like all of you, and let's see if the Giants can come home with a win and break this 5-game losing streak. 415-808 KNBR got a full board. Let's go out to Grass Valley and talk to Dick. Dick, you're on with Bill Laskey. How are you?
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Well, it's better to do a post-game show when they win. You know, I just can't continue to throw numbers out there because I think all Giants fans are seeing exactly what these numbers mean, and they're just not hitting the ball.
Well, yeah, I feel you, and I respect that opening monologue of you because, you know, you're a pretty big homer, but, you know, I think Buster Posey has put himself in a pickle.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, Dick, when they come home, because they got the Padres and the Pirates, and that's going to be a tough homestand right off the bat, especially 3 against San Diego, the way they're playing. And I just think there's going to be some household changes. I think there's going to be some moves, bringing up a couple guys in AAA, getting some guys sent back down. They have to do something. They have to do something to get some excitement, some kind of better hitters up here, because this team right now is just not hitting.
Can you hear me, Bill?
I got you now, buddy. What's up?
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah. You know, last year when he did that Chapman signing and then he did Adames, I mean, they're over 30. And all their prospects are infielders, and all of those prospects are being held down by Devers, Chapman, and Adames. I think he put us like 5 years behind.
Well, I think he put a lot of knowledge into those 3 guys because they are outstanding players. There's no question there, Dick. They are.
Out all the time.
They're making big money for one reason. There should be a lot better than what they are. And ever since they put a Giants uniform on last year with Adames and Endeavors, they just haven't produced as Buster Posey thought they would. And I think all Giants fans think the same. A lot of money spent on a guy that's 30 years old and a player that's 29. And when you're looking right now, both of these guys are 10 for 80. 10 for 80, and that's just not good enough when you got 2 major players going up to bat 4 times every game, and they're only getting 1 hit. They were 1 for 8 today, 0 for 8 yesterday. I mean, these things just don't happen, but they're continuing to happen. So there'll be a different approach. There's got to be some adjustments, and it's got to happen. And they got one more game on this road trip, because this rabbit hole they've dug on this road trip, 0-5, has gotten uglier. As I said, when you take 1 game out of this 5-game loss, they only scored 3 runs in 4 games, and you're not going to win too many games, Dick. But we'll find out, and we'll talk about it more. But, Dick, you know, I appreciate what your thoughts are, and we'll find out more. Let's go to Dave in Sacramento. Dave, you're on an extra inning post-game show. What'd you think of the game today?
Oh, it was Horrible game. Probably one of the worst games I've ever seen. The last 4 games, in fact, probably some of the worst Giants baseball I've seen in the last 30 years. I just turned 40 this week. Been a hardcore Giants fan my entire life, and I can honestly say, you know, when my wife and kids left me for our jiu-jitsu instructor, I thought that was the worst thing that could ever happen to me. But then I watched these last 4 games of Giants baseball, and I thought, man, it really does get worse. You know, bring up Bryce Eldridge, inject some life into this offense. Devers and Adames, they should be arrested. They should be thrown into Alcatraz right now for what they're doing to our team. I'm just so sick and tired of watching it. Honestly, I'd rather watch the Game Show Network at this point than these guys play baseball.
Well, Dave, it's definitely disturbing. It's definitely, you know, depressing. As I said, you know, you're sitting here, you're down 4-1, and you're going, okay, we're still in the range of getting in this game. And the first time a guy's on second base is 1 out in the 6th inning. That's not good hitting. That's not good baseball. And they're hitting off the bullpen. They started an opener today. They did 5 guys that were all from the bullpen. It's not like they were facing one of their top aces. These guys were all from the bullpen arms, and they just didn't do anything against them. I did Sports Phone yesterday. I said it in my open that these guys were jumping on the first pitch. Watch a couple pitches, watch a couple more. And what happens today? They do that, and what happens? 25 first pitch strikes, and they watch them. So, you know, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. But again, if the ball's right there, swing at it. Gilbert did it once. Chapman did it once. Really, Gilbert did it twice. He got 1 hit, and he lined out to third, got a walk. He really had 3 good at-bats. Arise, fantastic game, 3 for 4. But everybody else, it was terrible. Bad offensive game once again.
100% agree. Other than the 2 guys you mentioned, there is no life on this team's offense. I went to a funeral earlier today, and there was more life at that funeral than what I saw in that lineup today. Absolutely disgusting.
Boy, Dave, your comparisons on this call are unbelievable. Oh, man, from game show to your wife and now to a funeral. Whew, Dave, you are going bad.
I'm fired up, Bill.
Well, Dave, all we can do is hope for the best and hope something changes, because as I'm looking at this team in last place and it hasn't gotten better, I look at nonverbals, I look at their faces, I look at that dugout, and for one ball that hit the catwalk, it looked like they missed a grand slam the way they came all out after that ball. And it probably did hit the catwalk, because you saw Simpson going against the wall, looking at the ball, and all of a sudden he comes running in and they catches it in front of the warning track. There's no question it hit something. And the way the umpires portrayed it, the way they came after the whole dugout, threw 2 guys out, you could see the umpires were dumbfounded, because I think they missed the call. I don't know. There's no way you could have saw a replay of it. But somehow, some way, it's got to be changed at the Tropicana, because there are balls that hit the catwalk.
That's so sad for a team that's struggling just to scrape 1 run on the board, that they get 1 stolen. They said on TV it was 108 exit velo on that ball. There's no way that thing stayed in. Absolutely no way.
Right. But for them to be so upset over that, and the way that whole team, that just shows you frustration's building. And there's no question it is. Everybody was screaming. A pitcher gets thrown out. A bench coach gets thrown out. And I just watched the post-game remarks from Tony Vitello, and he said, I kind of blacked out. I really didn't know what the hell to say. So a lot of things got to change here. A lot of communication has to change. A lot of things got to calm down a little bit and start again. And they got to get out of Tampa Bay tomorrow with a win, because that flight home, boy, there's a lot of aggression with these guys right now. And you don't want to have a clubhouse where the guys are all upset. And I think that's what we're starting to see with this player.
Oh, they got to get that win tomorrow, 100%. And I think you bring up Rodriguez, you bring up Eldridge, inject a little life into this offense, maybe they can get it turned around. But It is not looking good.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I hope you have a better rest of a Saturday night. All I can ask you. But thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Let's go out to Cole He's in Richmond. Cole, you're on with Bill Laskey on a Saturday. What's going on in your eyes for the Giants?
Oh, it's looking good, Bill. We're only, 7 games under 500 now? And, what else do we think was going to happen this year? Like you say, us Giants callers, we watch the game all the time. And we knew when you signed Matt Chapman for 6 years and Adames and Devers, we were all scratching our heads saying, what are you doing, Buster? And Buster saying, no, I'm smarter than you.
Wait a minute, Cole. Cole. I'm gonna stop you. Cole, I'm going to stop you right there. When they did that, I was happy with the deals. I really was. I really thought those were good moves. The Giants needed a shortstop. He went out to get the best shortstop, Willie Adames. There was nothing else out there unless you start trading. And that was the only thing he could do. Maybe overpaid him. Sure, we always talk about overpaying a player. But when you're looking at the market, that's what it was. He went and got Devers because it's hard as hell to get a free agent to sign here. He felt Devers was that guy. And, of course, the length of the contract goes to 2030. Chapman, a Gold Glove Platinum third baseman, he felt was a leader on this team. He did the deal for Farhan. So, no, I'm just going to disagree with you. I thought those deals were a little lengthy, but I thought the caliber of players were a lot better than what they're showing us.
Well, the caliber of player that they used to be, yes, but not now. That's obvious. Their prime is gone. We paid them. They're here. Buster's here. So I'm thinking, why don't we just extend Buster for life, give him a lifetime contract, and make sure that he's paid at the top of the salary scale of every other president of baseball operations, because he's a genius and we're all idiots and we pay money for season tickets, and you think we're going to support this team when he's spitting on us and looking, thinking like we don't know what we're talking about, like we're literally.
Wait a minute, Cole. Do you think he's happy right now, Cole? Cole, do you think Buster Posey's happy right now? Do you think the front office is happy right now? There's not one person in that front office isn't scratching their head trying to figure out what else could happen to make this team better. They're not sitting here going, oh, man, we'll be all right. We're 13-20. We'll be fine. These guys are good. No, they're not. They're angry, just like every Giants fan is. Just like all these callers are calling me. We're all frustrated. I'm frustrated trying to analyze this because when it comes down to it, they can't hit right now. And it's not one or two hitters like it's Devers and Adames. No, it's the whole team right now. And we saw this in the beginning of the year, 1 through 9. When Tony Veep put the same lineup out there every day, nothing was happening. Oh, we win 1 game, lose 2. Win 1 game, lose 3. But now it's showing right now the depth of this team, there's no depth. And you're putting all your marbles in these guys like you and I just talked about, and it's not working. So how do you change this, Cole? What do you do, Cole? You tell me.
Well, I have a good idea. See, we have all these new people running the organization. Buster's never been a president.
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the players on the field, Cole. The players in this roster the 13 players on this roster. How are you going to change this? That's the question I'm asking you.
Oh, how do you change the players? Well, you can't because
how do you change the offense? How do you change the offense right now?
They're getting
what are you going to do?
You're going to have to.
They are, but you got to change something.
Well, you can't change that. You think you're going to go against a major league pitcher like you and beat him just because I want to change something? No, you have to have talent. You have to have athleticism to beat a guy like Bill Laskey.
You have talent. You have talent.
No,
it's Howard. There's talent. Oh, come on now, Cole. There's talent here. We just haven't seen it come out yet, Cole. We haven't seen it come out yet, Cole. And I'm tired of saying, it's only 30 games, 34 games. No, we're not seeing it out of these players, and there's something that has to be sparked on this team. I like what my last caller said. Maybe we switch some guys. Maybe there has to be some new faces in this lineup. Maybe it is time to bring up Bryce Eldridge. Maybe it is time to bring up Jesus Rodriguez that's scalding the ball. There has to be some kind of life change in this clubhouse. There has to be something maneuvered here. Do we get rid of players? Are we going to release Encarnacion? Are we going to get rid of Koss? Those guys haven't had a chance to play. But are they big league players to make a change? No, they're not. But I think it's time we bring up some young players. I think it is time. All right, Cole, thanks for the call. Let's go to Mark Anthony. He's in San Lorenzo. Mark, how are you on a Saturday?
I'm doing good, Bill. You know, I wasn't going to call in today, and then I listened to your intro, and you lit a fire under me again, Bill. I mean, it's bad enough watching the game, but when you start citing stats and you go from A to Z, why the Giants are doing horrible, it's incredible. I mean, when they've had three.
Mark, isn't it? I mean, just let me quit. Let me just cut you in here, Mark. Let me just cut in. When I say the numbers, it's not, deceiving the listeners. It's not making this team look bad. It's facts. And the factual numbers on a team that's hitting 206 in 2 games against Tampa and the pitching staff that threw against them, and this is what you're going against, one of the top teams in the AL East, and you can't even get more than 1 run in 2 games, it's factual evidence. And when I tell you they had 8 runs on this road trip, and 4 of them, 5 of them were in 1 game, oh, man, that tells you everything right there, Mark.
And I heard them lose that game after they went back and forth, and then they put 2 men on in extra innings with nobody out, and they couldn't even get the man in from third base. And so that's the kind of
you heard right.
That's the kind of situation. Right. Yeah, no, that's the kind of the Giants have no consistency. That's what's going on early in the season.
Right.
They can't get.
They did. They did, Mark.
In a series of teams.
They did. They won 3 series in a row. And in a couple of those games, they only had 3 or 4 hits, but the pitching was outstanding. The pitching right now, I believe, is above average. I really do. I think the bullpen, once it gets sorted out where they go, I don't think Walker's your closer. I think Miller could be your closer now. I keep bringing up Caleb Killian. Maybe he gets a chance later in the games. You got Keaton Wynn that can give you an inning. But these are guys that are coming up and being alive. These are guys that could help your team, but you got to get to them with a lead. You got to give them some kind of lead here for your starting pitchers. You're telling me Robbie Ray yesterday couldn't get a win, only giving up 3 runs? Oh, come on. That's what you should be able to get wins on, 2 or 3 runs. And the Giants right now are snakebutt. They can't even get 2 runs in a game. And that's what's killing me right now, watching these pitchers throw. And now you're starting to get that ball a little tighter in their hands once they get behind. I did this when I was with the Giants in 83, 84, 85. When we lost 100 games, you go out there thinking I got to put 9 zeros on the board to win a game. You can't pitch like that. And I saw Landon Roop do that. Once he gave up that first run in the 4th inning, he didn't pitch aggressive in the 5th inning. He walked 2 guys, a couple hits, and he was done. And I think that's the stress that the young pitchers can't go under. The stress of a young pitcher can't handle that.
On Landon Roop's case, Bill, he hadn't given up a hit in the last couple of games. He was giving up 1 hit, 2 hits. The guy was pitching great. He had won 4 games in a row. Today was an anomaly because he was doing well up to the 4th inning. It was tied 1-1, and then the roof caved in that inning when he got 2 guys on, and then that guy bunted and got on, and then the roof caved in after he struck out their third baseman, right? And then the other guy got a hit, or he walked somebody, then he got a hit. Like
and you know, a couple of that 1 inning, it's just frustrating. And I guarantee Landon Roop's going to look at that inning going, man, I pushed the ball, I aimed the ball, my spin wasn't right. And why? Because he was down 1-0 and he knows he couldn't give up any more runs. It happens to starting pitchers. It happens to veteran pitchers. Logan Webb is a total different breed. Robbie Ray is a total different breed. They've been pitching for so many years. They know they just have to go out and shut them down. But the younger pitchers like Landon Roop, man, you could see the frustration in him. And I just felt it for him because as a young pitcher, you're trying to do your best, but the next thing you're doing, you're aiming the ball and you give up a base hit, and the next thing you know, the shoulders drag, and you're just not sharp. And he fell apart in the 5th inning.
You're going to have that opportunity to look at Landon Roop one day when you're down there walking around, and you'll share that with him, right? Because you're a veteran. You went through
I talk to
same
Landon
thing.
a lot. Yeah, Mark, I talk to Landon a lot. He's a good friend. He listens home. Loves when I talk pitching. I talk to him a lot about pitching, and he's a bulldog. I'll take 5 of Landon Roop's on any team. Any team. He's that kind of guy. And, boy, he fights just like a bulldog. And I just love how he goes after hitters with his good stuff. He threw really nice pitches today, a good mix of sinkers, curveballs, changeups, threw a couple of cutters, the lefties. So he's working at it, and it just didn't work out for him today. And he gives up 4 earned runs, and he was pitching so well on the road. Really, he was the best pitcher in Major League Baseball going into this game. He gave up the least runs on the road. And, when you're looking at that, he was 3-0 coming into this game with a .50 earned run average on the road. The best ever in Major League Baseball until today. So we'll find out, Mark, but good stuff, and I appreciate you calling in today. All right, we're going to take a quick break on a full board. Got to take a quick break, get my sponsors, and we'll be right back here on the Extra Inning Post Game Show on KNBR.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
You know, the extra energy out of our dugout is understandable when you get shut out last night, and then our guys probably listen. They definitely listen way more than I to the quote-unquote noise. You hear about however many shutouts it's been, you're dying for a run. So in this particular situation, you hate to say it, maybe it's my role for us to get a little tougher or to find whatever that right confidence is, because I don't think guys lack confidence entirely. It's a little bit outcome based right now. So, scoring first or, scoring in general is going to affect confidence.
All right, back on the Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Laskey, Tony Vitello on his post-game remarks about his team lacking confidence. And he talks about people hearing the noise, people reading about stuff. Well, that's the nature of social media, and I think a lot of players do read social media. I think a lot of players know they've been shut out 7 times, and that is not a good sign if you're going to start winning. And right now they're 13-20, and they've lost 5 games in a row. Got some fired-up fans online, so I'm ready for you. So let's go out to Gino in Roseville. What's going on, Gene?
Bill, I've been a Giant fan for 79 years. It started 1947.
Wow.
And I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you're talking about bringing people up and trying to change everything. I think it's about time Buster's experiment with Tony is not working. These guys are just do not feel comfortable that they've got enough. They know enough to try to help them get out of this thing, and I think that's part of the problem. I think that possibly maybe if they don't want to lose 100 games, I think maybe the time comes that they may have to make the change and maybe get Ron Washington to as an interim manager.
Let me ask you this, Gene. Gene, let me ask you this question. Gene, let me ask you this. You read a lot that writers write, that they say Tony Vitello was given this roster, and the roster was given to him, and he's supposed to manage it. He's supposed to understand the ups and downs of all this, right? But do you think he's managing this team well? Do you think Tony Vitello is putting the right people in the right place in a lineup?
No.
Do you think he's doing the right thing on pitching? What do you think he's doing wrong?
Well, I just don't believe that he's going to the thing. I mean, we get a hot hitter like Suzak. We don't go back-to-back on him like most normal people do. I think he's very, very stubborn. I think he just wants to put a specific team out there, and he wants to play that particular team regardless of what's happening. And, I mean, we've seen it time and time again. We saw what Gilbert got 3 hits, and then they sit him down. I mean, you get 3 hits.
Well, the reason why they sat him down, Gene, is he's going against a left-hand pitcher, and his numbers are terrible against left-hand pitchers. And I think that's where the switch happens. Now, Susak, I agree with you. When he was hot as a pistol, he should have been played a little bit more, and he went right back to Patrick Bailey, and Patrick Bailey's not even a 150-hitter right now. It's just so sad that Susak's elbow got hurt and he's on the IL. But when I'm asking you, do you think Tony Vitello writes this lineup out? Do you think his coaching staff helps him? Do you think maybe Buster Posey helps him writing this? Or do you think it's all on Tony V?
Yes, I do. I don't see him conversing with Ron Washington. I don't see him talking to Wotus. They're not close to him. He's standing there. It looks like he's completely isolated. It's like, and I sort of think...
The only problem, Gene, and I'll tell you, from an ex-big leaguer, Gene, from an ex-big leaguer, we don't know what goes on in the dugout. We don't know what happens in between innings. There is communication, and there is people talking to him. I just think somehow, some way, either he's getting opportunities where he thinks he's right, but he's wrong. In that Philadelphia game, he made some bonehead moves in that doubleheader. Kept guys in too long, didn't pinch hit guys. That was one of the worst doubleheaders I've ever seen the Giants play, where they could have won 2 games and then come out with 2 losses. What happens now in Tampa Bay, it rolls right into bad hitting. Nobody on, can't score. And all of a sudden the pressure goes right back to Tony Vitello, and you heard what he said. Is there confidence left in this team? He goes, yeah. We just got too much stuff that we're listening to and we need to work. Well, then shut it off. Shut it off and get these guys concentrating on certain aspects of the game because they're not changing. And what they need to do is change. They need to get better approaches. They need to stop swinging at the elevated fastball. They're always swinging so hard that they can't even put the ball in play. So I am in your corner in one way, but I don't think Tony V's going anywhere. I think he's here for a learning year. And it's just tough because you got a lot of big league players. I don't know if they're listening to him. They say they are. I don't know if they trust him. We don't know because we're not in the clubhouse. And we don't have that option to say the stuff because all we're doing is guessing. Because you have to be there. You have to be in that dugout. You have to be in the grind with these guys to see if he's capable of doing this. I don't think Buster Posey made the wrong move. I just think there should have been somebody next to him like a Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker, and give him that knowledge of a very good manager that was successful. He's got Ron Washington. He's got Ron Wotus at home, and I think you're absolutely right. He needs a couple more people around him, surrounding him as the game goes on. And I'm hoping you hear him. I'm hoping that happens, Gene, but thanks for the call. Let's go to Santa Cruz and talk to Josh. Josh, you're on an extra inning post-game show on a Saturday. Got some fired-up fans. Tell me what you think.
Hey, Mr. Laskey, before I, get fired up, I want to apologize for being a little too fired up last time I called in like a week and a half ago.
I'm all good, Josh.
I really
it's all
appreciate
good because you know what it is? No, you know what it is, Josh? It's not just you. It's every Giants fan because we want to be better. Just like me. I want this team to be better. I would love to be saying they're 20-13, but they're 13-20, and it's a good sounding board to get that frustration out of you. And I'm fine with it. But when I argue with people and people want to just keep coming at me, well, I'm going to argue back because I don't understand with some of the thoughts you have. Josh, you said a lot of good things that last call. I remember the call. And things have to change. But it's good to air it out, and I'm here to air it out. And I'm ready for you tonight, Josh.
All right, man. I really appreciate it. Anyway, Mr. Laskey, this team is just, it's diabolical on the road right now. I was out at the Marlins game on Saturday I think it was last week, maybe a week and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing. When they get going, the bats hit. But when they get discouraged, like Roop in that inning where it just kind of fell apart, man. And it's a bad day for Roop. It was bound to happen. He's 5-1. He was one of the best pitchers in the MLB right now, and so
he was
when the offense can't get production, and whatever. Encarnacion, Vitello's here to stay. There's no doubt about that. This is a benchmark for him to get up to the MLB. He's not going back to collegiate baseball.
No, he's going to be here. I just think he needs some. I think he needs some drastic help on the bench. I really do. I think he needs to sit down on the bench and have a couple people around him to give him thoughts, 2 or 3 hitters down the road, 2 or 3 pitchers down the road. I think the last caller was right. You see him standing there by himself. We just don't know if he's making those moves by himself. Is there communication with the bench? Is there communication with the pitching coach? Maybe between innings there's conversation. But some of the moves he's made on this road trip, I scratch my head because you don't leave Keaton Wynn in the Schwarber. You don't leave that in. You don't leave Ryan Walker in throwing 8 sinkers to a lefty. Something has to change there. Something's got to stop. Either you stop the game and you go out and talk about it, but those things fell apart. And that does go on Tony Vitello.
I totally agree with that, but this is his first season. We're 33 games in, and, I'm still wearing my, sorry, there's a motorcycle going by me. I'm not going to stop watching the games or anything. I'm a diehard fan for this club. I just
Same here.
I know that they're better than they are, and I know you are, man. You used to play for this team, so it's it's just one of those things where we expect more out of them, and
right.
The Devers Adames situation is somebody's got to sit for a day, man. Like they got to pause. And I've been watching minor league highlights, man. I've been watching the River Cats and the San Jose team. There's a lot of good prospects.
Some young
there.
talent down
I don't
there.
think they need to bring Eldridge up. I don't think they need to bring anybody up. But bringing somebody up and being like, hey, man, like your position is a position. We can drop your contract. Devers has been so unproductive this year. It's historic. He is the worst on OPS in baseball right now.
Yeah, I know. And the strikeout ratio is unbelievable,
man.
His walks last year were normal, the year before normal, and this year they're minuscule. You don't see him even walking. I see more strikeouts, and I see so many over the ball strikeouts or under the ball strikeouts where he's not even fouling the ball off. They're just really tough swings, hard swings. And I said this last night on Sports Phone KNBR. I watched a video of him when he was with Boston, and I watched a video of him since the Giants. Two total different stances. And he was smoking the ball when I was watching these videos. It's a different kind of stance, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it's a whole different angle of the bat, is where his hands are. If you want to do something, Josh, go back and look at how he swung the bat in Boston, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's totally two different hitters.
I absolutely will, Bill. Something changed. You know what I mean? I don't know if the Red Sox were privy to it before they traded him, but they knew he wasn't willing to play ball with them anymore. He wasn't going to go to first and play or third or whatever they wanted him to do. They wanted him to DH. He wasn't willing to fit that role. Whatever. It's like a Kaminga all over. Who cares? He comes over. He was pretty productive last season, and this season it's horrible to watch. And I'm at the job site, man. I hear him strike out during that double header, man. Like
it's ugly.
Swinging at everything, and it's just up and away fastballs. It's just down the middle, up and away, and he can't even
Josh,
connect.
as a pitcher, if I'm pitching against him, I have no fear. I have no fear in him right now. There's no fear if I'm pitching against him like he was 3 years ago. Because last year, 3 years ago, not even last year, I didn't have a fear in him watching him swing.
Him and Adames are out right now. They're out right now.
Let me ask you something. Is there one player in this lineup right now, if you were pitching, you're fear of? Maybe Arias.
The only person I'm afraid of right now
Maybe.
is Arias. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. We're right there together.
Yeah.
Arias.
I would say that. He's about the only guy that's going to put the ball in play, and he's going to get on base. Other than that, I don't see anybody in this lineup I'd be fear of. There really isn't.
It's Schmidt, maybe. Schmidt is the only person that's been hot enough to hit long bombs away from us right now. And it's
and I'm
hot
just saying
cold.
at times.
And they're discouraged, man. They're discouraged. I'm not going to take up any more of your time, Bill. You know how I feel about this. The offense is anemic, and I really appreciate you and your time, man. Have a good night.
Josh, thanks for the call. And you know what? You weren't upsetting me last time. I remember the call, Josh, but thanks for keep calling, man. Thanks for keep calling, because you are exactly what a Giants fan's feeling right now. The frustration and just watching this game, wondering when this offense is going to take off. When is it going to kick in? And we just don't know. Later on in the show, I'll tell you what I did. I did talk to Jesus Rodriguez. I had a great conversation with Jesus the other day. We're going to hear that later on today, and you're going to understand how confident this young kid is. And he's hitting the shit out of the ball. He's hitting the ball all over the place. We saw it in spring training. We're seeing it in AAA. And he'd probably be the guy that I would probably want to see up here right now. Bryce Eldridge, I just don't know where it's going to fit in if he comes up. If he comes up, he's got to play every day. I just saw a video of him hitting a ball to right center field, 118 miles an hour. They said the hardest ball that I've seen in AAA. That's how well he's swinging. We know what he can do. It's just, are they willing to make the change at first base? I just don't know. There's a lot of talk going on in this front office. You know, Buster's trying to figure something out here, trying to change some faces, trying to change some confidence in this clubhouse and dugout. We're going to find out. They got one more game, and when they come home in San Diego, you're going to see some new faces. There's going to be some new faces in that clubhouse, and hopefully they'll spark this team. Let's go to Mick. He's in San Leandro. Mick, you're on Extra Innings with Bill Laskey. How are you?
I'm well, Bill. Thanks for asking. I got a couple of opinions here regarding what they could do to right the ship.
Great.
For one,
I'm all ears, Mick.
One thing. Okay, I don't think there's anyone that's inspirational enough from the inside to be able to get everybody's attention. I think the inspiration is going to have to come from outside. And I cite Bruce Bochy when he took over the Texas Rangers. I think it was in 2023. He went down and talked to the team, and he told them, he says, "I did not come here to lose." And I think they won the World Series in 2023. And I think Bruce was the manager. And they need to call on their resources, Bochy, Dusty, Wotus, the people who have been there, done that, and they need to take and open up a can of verbal whoop-ass to get everybody's attention and say, look, if you're going to be in the playoffs, you can't hope for it. Hope is not a plan. You've got to sit down, and everybody has to become personally responsible for their defense and their offense, because when I see somebody, I'm not going to name names, in the infield make a mistake and they don't get the third out, they hang the pitcher out to dry, and he's got to go another 12 pitches to get that out. And you wear the pitchers out with your errors. And those guys just think, oh, well, I'll make up for it next time. But they're hanging out the pitching and extending them, and they seem to think like making an error or a mental error, that's just part of the game. Well, it isn't with winning teams. I think that they basically have to get the attention and make each of the players take on their own personal responsibility for their defense and offense and support the pitching, because the pitching's been fantastic compared to their defense and offense. Offense, I mean, they can't steal bases because they don't get enough walks and they don't get enough hits. There's nobody on base, and I don't think they realize that. I think they need somebody.
Well, and that's the whole thing. You just had two major points right there, Mick. The walks are down. They're last in walks. They have 67 walks. The next team up is Arizona, and they got 88 walks, and that's 29th team and the 30th team. They're really in the cellar here for walks. One walk today, Drew Gilbert. Drew Gilbert watches a lot of pitches, but then again, he took two swings at first pitch today, got a base hit and hit that line out to third base. It's a good opportunity once in a while to swing at the first pitch, but there's a lot of times you got to take some pitches. And they just don't do that, Mick, and they don't do it regularly. And I think that's one of the mistakes they're doing. If you're going to try to make contact, if you're going to try to go up and hit a base hit, you got to watch a couple pitches the pitchers are throwing. And if you do that, you got to make sure you got enough hits, because if you got hits, you can see a little more pitches. But they're not doing that either. Hits make pitchers in trouble.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the pitchers because they're pitching their hearts out, and they're not getting the results that they deserve. You take a guy like Arise. I mean, take a look at how is he different from them? I mean, they can learn something from what he does to get on base and taking pitches and stuff. And they're just in their own little thing, swinging from their heels, and also they're chasing pitches out of the zone. They've had some of these where they're contesting the pitch count, and some of them have been strikes, really inside the zone, and they're questioning that. So I don't think some of the guys are careful enough to really know the zone and quit chasing those pitches out, because those are balls that would
those
allow
are good
them
points,
to
Mick.
get walked. Yeah,
they're really some solid points. Yeah.
About half of the walks statistically end up scoring. So if you're a pitcher and you give up 2 walks, one of those usually scores, and that's not hyperbole. You can look all that up. Walks are as good as a hit when it comes to scoring, as far as being on base.
That's a phrase we've heard so many times, right, Mick? A walk's as good as a hit. But again, a hit's good for a walk, because most of the time when you start getting that pitcher in trouble, more pitches are thrown, and a lot of times they're behind hitters. They just haven't had that opportunity yet. They haven't chased the pitcher out. They haven't got the bullpen in any of these games where the starters were in trouble. Not one game on this whole 5-game losing streak that starting pitcher was in trouble.
Yeah, they're never in. Their pitch counts are never running up high because we're making 1 or 2 pitch outs for the pitcher. Yep. It's pathetic, They, but like you say, they're not getting out, getting hits, and they're not getting walks. And when you don't do either one and you hit first or second pitch for 2 pitch outs, a guy gets out of the inning with like an 8 or 9 pitch out, and then the other team's occupying time and hitting the heck out of the ball. they need to.
Well, Mick, here's a number for you, Mick. Let me throw this one at you, Mick. I said it earlier. 13 for 63 in these 2 games. 13 hits they got. They got 1 walk. That's it. 1 walk in 2 games.
We're both right.
1 walk,
pathetic,
15 strikeouts,
right,
and that's not going to get people on base. So, when you're looking at 13 hits and they scored 1 run. So the offense has to change. The offense got to get better, and that's what Mick, you and I are both talking about. But thanks again, my friend. It's always great talking to you about hitting, and some of the reality of points that you're bringing up are totally spot on. I appreciate it, Mick. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Got a full board. I'm not going anywhere, so don't go anywhere. We're going to continue to talk about this Giants team and what they can do to get better. That's one thing we are all in favor of. I'm Bill Laskey. We'll be right back on KNBR, the sports leader.
The game may be over, but we know you want to talk more ball. So KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey continues.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
We are KNBR 104.5 and 6.8, the sports leader.
All right, back on the Extra Inning post-game show with Bill Laskey on a Saturday evening. Disappointing news. The Giants lose their 5th in a row on a 6-game road trip. They're 0-5 on the road trip. 13-20 on the season. They lose today 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays on the other side are 20-12. A team that really wasn't hitting the ball that well, but at the same time they got enough hits and they got enough runs, and the Giants just couldn't do anything. The Giants have scored 1 run in 18 innings against the Rays. All right, let's get back to the phone lines, 415-808-KNBR. Let's go to Jeff. He's in Los Angeles. Jeff, you're on an evening show Saturday with Bill. How are you?
Oh, my God, Bill, thanks for taking the call. Great to talk with you. I'm going to start the show off.
I appreciate you holding on.
Yeah, of course, man. It's great. I've been listening. It's fun to listen to everybody's point of view. I love Gene and Roseville. I'm going to get into that in a sec. But the positive, the Dodgers dropped their 4th in a row tonight to the St. Louis Cardinals, and scoring 2 or fewer runs. Right? Let's something to celebrate in this mess. I think. Yeah, me too. Me too. That's a good thing. And let me tell you, it's hard enough to be a Giants fan in L.A., let alone when the Giants are not at their best. So that's something. I have a Giants flag that I actually have to hang in my backyard, otherwise my house will be egged. So,
are you going to go to the 4-game series here in May? Jeff, they're coming to L.A.
Actually, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there, and I will proudly represent our Giants. And I was there actually in San Francisco when we had the walk-off and won it when Shohei went, the second of the games. It was great. Really fun night. And pretty amazing how those Dodger fans traveled. It was a great series. It was really fun. So positives, right? But I do think there is a leadership challenge in the dugout right now. And if you listen to Kruk and Kite talk about playing for Frank and playing for Hum Baby, I think there's something to the presence of a leader in the dugout. And I can speak to this from experience.
I played for both of them.
Of what it's like.
Yeah, I played with both of them also.
What it's like to lace them up and feel the tension of performing for somebody that knows what the hell is going on. And I think that there is something going on with the chemistry of the team, and they're kind of on their own versus really following somebody who is a true leader. There's a lot of coaching missteps going on right now. And I know you talked about Tony inking his own lineup, and that may be the case. But I think culture is really something that's easy to destroy and really hard to build. And those true leaders
Great
of
line.
winning teams, Steve Kerr, look at Bill Walsh dressing up as a baggage handler in the Super Bowl to greet the team coming off the bus. There are moments that are transitional to get these folks to kind of really step in and take it seriously. And I think there's a challenge there. And I also know that Boach and Dusty are advisors on the staff, and I kind of wonder what would happen if they walked into the locker room.
Maybe they have. We don't know, Jeff. I mean, there has to be something with Dusty talking to players. Jeff, I'm sure Boach is in there. Ron Washington, don't forget, he's on the staff. He's one of the coaches, and he's one of the best. And, you know, that's when everybody was all over Hector Borg yesterday, making some inappropriate moves. We all know what he did wrong. He's made some right moves. And that's why, you know, you got Ron Wotus, you got Ron Washington, both good third base coaches, and I'm sure there is some conversation there. This Hector Borg came from the minor leagues. He was a minor league coach for 10 years. This is the first time he's on the big stage. Third base coach, man, it happens so quick. You know this, Jeff. Things happen so quick. The stop sign comes up and a fumble in the outfield. The hand's going around the corner, and look what happened to Jung-Hoo Lee, almost tore his knee apart. Things happen.
Yes.
He has to make that decision. But again, you got to look at the learning curve for Hector Borg also. This whole coaching staff is really young. Most of them have never even been in the big leagues. And that's why when I start seeing all these names coming out, I'm hitting the head just like you are. There has to be some level of consistency and leadership. And right now, you're absolutely right. He's learning to be a leader. And there has to be somebody next to him or talking to him during that game. We don't know. I'm not in the dugout. And there is voices, but I think he's standing there all by himself a lot.
Yeah, it looks that way. He looks like an island. And you're right. I hear you. You know, we don't know really what's happening behind the scenes. But I'll pull out here with one last question. Can you share a leader or manager that left an impression on you and why it motivated you to play better?
I appreciate that. And I think the first one was Frank Robinson, a Hall of Famer that expected you to play like he did, a Hall of Famer that wanted you to know the game like he did. And he would talk to you. He'd bring you in his office, talk to you then. And he'd also get in your face when things didn't go right. And he'd also be a very quiet pat on the back. It was more of what Frank did to make you feel that he was in your corner and you wanted to be proud to play for him. But on the other side, you knew that he was waiting for you to screw up just that little bit so he could bark at you. But it made you a better person. It made me a better pitcher talking to him. He brought me in my rookie year, Jeff, and I've told this story many times, and he asked me, how many times do I pitch inside? How many times do you pitch inside? And I said, maybe once every 5 pitches. He goes, you won't last a day in the big leagues if you don't pitch 3 times out of 5 pitches. You have to put the fear in the hitter instead of the hitter putting the fear in you. And it changed my philosophy of pitching. And here he is, Frank Robinson, and you remember this, Jeff. He stood right on top of the plate.
Oh, yeah.
And he got hit a lot, and he was looking for that pitcher to not throw the ball inside. He's looking away, and how many times did he rake that ball away? Because he set the pitcher up.
Oh, man.
And that was one big thought that I teach pitching now in college and high school. The 2 sides of the plate you got to be equal on, and not just the outside corner. And I'm glad you brought that up because he was influential on how I teach the game of pitching and how I learned the pitching at the big league level from one of the greatest hitters in baseball.
Wow, that's so inspirational. Hey, Bill, thanks a million. This post-game show.
Jeff, thanks for the call, man. It was good. I'm glad you brought some positive. Yeah, I'm glad you brought some positive to the show, and I appreciate that. Let's go to Dino. He's in Pacheco. Dino, you're on an extra inning post-game show, and it is a fired-up Saturday night. How are you?
I'm good, Bill. Good to talk to you again. I talked to you last night. I just want to say that one more time that we talked about pitching last night because I was a former pitcher, anyway. This is just a repeat of last year, Bill. This ain't about.
It is.
I can't believe people are saying. I can't believe people are talking about. They need somebody to like more influential people. I mean, they got, like you said, they got Bruce Bochy. They've got Are we talking about children or something? Their offense, maybe, they got Bochy, they got Dusty Baker, they got Bruce, they got Buster Posey. I mean, everybody around that place. Let's just face it. I think the offense last year, it was a shock when they scored 3 or more runs. And I told you about Verlander. Verlander should have had at least 10 wins. Just himself. Besides the rest of the pitching. The pitching staff's fantastic. I think maybe we got to face the fact that this offense just ain't that good. I mean, period. Maybe they're not as talented as obvious. It's obvious. I mean, just everybody's.
Dino, let me ask you this. Dino, Dino, let me ask you this question. I asked an earlier caller, and I'll ask you. You're a pitcher. Is there one hitter in this lineup you're in fear of if you're pitching against them?
Not at all. Not at all. Obviously, I mean, last year was a shock if they scored 3 runs or more in a game. That was like a big deal, and it's just the same thing here. It's not just this just didn't start this season, but Bomel got blamed for it, right. But anyway, I got one theory, Bill. I was just thinking about this today. Is why not bring up Eldridge? Why not bring up somebody else that's maybe doing good in the minors right now in Sacramento?
Eldridge is scalding the ball. Rodriguez is scalding the ball. I think we're going to see some changes. I really do. I think there's going to be a couple changes. And, the guys that would come up, they're on a 40-man roster, so you don't have to worry about flipping a guy or doing different things. The people that all are doing well down there are on a 40-man roster. It's just, are they going to make that change? Are they going to make a jump and bring somebody else up like a Jesus Rodriguez? Or I just don't know what their thoughts are on Bryce Eldridge. He hit a ball 118 miles an hour. I just watched it on X. He scalded a ball to right center field and almost put a hole in the right center field wall. That's how he's swinging it.
Yeah. The reason I say that, Bill, is it can't get any worse. It can't get any worse if you bring somebody up. You can't get any worse than these guys right now. 1 run a game or 0 runs a game?
It's not even that.
Come on, man.
It's under 3. When you're looking at 33 games, you're not even close to 3 runs a game. And on this road trip, when I threw those numbers at 24 runs, they gave up 24. They've only got 8 runs. 8 runs? Come on. That's not big league numbers. That's for sure. I mean, it can't hurt. It can't hurt, man. That's for sure. Well, I think we're going to see some changes. I think there has to be. You're seeing guys getting at bat here. You got Brennan taking it at bat. He's frailing. You got Koss, who hasn't played. Encarnacion. There are some people that could maybe flip and get a new life into the clubhouse, into the dugout. Maybe somebody can get and start ripping the ball and everything starts falling off of that. Because, Dino, they're going to play the NL West here. Either they're going to come to life or they're going to be buried in the NL West.
Oh, it's horrifying right now. It's just horrifying. But anyway, Bill, right on. Good to talk to you again. And I don't like to be negative, but boy, I mean, the pitching staff is wonderful. The offense, this ain't just this year. This happened all last year too. The same old stuff.
It's happened a couple years. It really has. Thanks, Dino. I appreciate the call once again. You take care on a Saturday night. Let's go to Bob. He's in Redwood City. Bob, you're on our Next Running post-game show. Fired Up Fans. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Hold on 1 second. Let me grab the phone. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You got me?
Good for you, Bob.
Okay, cool. So, I want to start from the top down as far as the ownership goes. And what I think is the ownership treats the team like a business more than a passion. I think a little bit too much. And I think that they're so worried about losing a fan base if they don't have big names coming in that they're not willing to rebuild the team and talk about all the things and bringing up all these kids and really committing to it. I liked the Tony V hire because that made a statement that we're going young. We got a guy that dealt with college kids, bring in kids and keep bringing them in. I think that Devers, Adames, and Chapman, they're all from like the Bryce Harper hit the ball as hard as you can era, say 10 years ago. And now we got to get into small ball, and we got to, we got big bases, shorter paths, and start producing runs. I love Arise. What a find that guy was. San Diego must be disgusted by letting him go. And Koss, get him in there, play him some more. But bring in these kids and just commit to changing it. As a Giants fan for 50-plus years, I don't mind going through a rebuilding year. I think the Giants, and the one thing that annoys me, and this may be petty, but the ownership breaks out they broke out the Brandon Belt celebration just to keep the fans going, get that nostalgia of the past going. And I'm like going, great. It was great. It was fun. We had an amazing run for, 6 or 7 years. We've moved on from that. It's just not going to happen again. You have to bring kids in, build.
But let me stop you right here,
on.
Bob. Let me ask you a question. 33 games into the season, you want to tank the season and rebuild right now, or what is it? You're saying you want to rebuild and bring up younger talent. What are you going to do with all these contracts? You can't sit these guys. They're going to have to play. You've put your chips in the middle of the table. These guys have to compete. They have to go out there and get their at-bats. But there's got to be a different direction in how they swing, and that's what I keep saying. There's got to be something different in the mentality of the approach of the game, because you can't just go up there and strike out 2 or 3 times and get one hit. There has to be something changed in their approach, their adjustment, seeing the ball. They're taking batting practice, they're taking extra BP, but it's when they get on the field. And I've always said this, that everybody wants to fire, when they want to fire Bob Melvin and Pat Burrell and all. And I was saying, hold off here. Let's stop right here. Why aren't we firing the players? The players are in the box. The players are fielding. The players are pitching. And that's what I'm saying. You want to rebuild something, but yet you put all your chips in the middle of the table, and you really can't give that up. What are you going to do with those big contracts?
Well, the first thing you're going to do is there's no kid gloves on Devers, Adames, and Chapman. I mean, with Devers, they have to get a person in there to say, look, all you do is you look like you're hacking every time you're up there, and we're paying you a heck of a lot of money, and all you're doing is hacking. With Adames, he's obviously in a massive career high slump, and he's got to stop with throwing water on the player that had a great game. Those little water antics, the water buckets. Stop with that stuff.
Yeah,
you're a high-paid cheerleader
I agree.
at that time.
The Gatorade bath is fun when you're winning. The Gatorade bath is not fun when you're 13-20. I mean, it's fun to celebrate. But you got to get on a roll to have fun in that clubhouse. You got to be on a roll to win in that dugout. Sometimes it's funny. Other times it's like, come on, you don't need to do that. And of course Adames does it all the time. That's his trait. But enough is enough.
So the thing they got to do with him is make him wear black and orange. Get rid of the purple, no crazy colors, until he starts getting a hitting streak. Then give him a taste of purple, and then maybe a taste of some. He gets to wear his pink once in a while for the cancer days. That's cool, but it's like none of this showboat stuff, because he's a good ball player. But again, it goes back to he's from hit it as hard as you can, get a home run. And I could segue into what I think about the park itself and how it's cold and he can't hit it out, and the wind and all that stuff that affects his hitting. And I can see it when sometimes he doesn't get home runs, that on balls he hit really hard at our park, But I think the management really and the ownership really has to commit to making this change. And, they can beat up on, again, Devers, Adames, Chapman, a little bit of Ramos, and Bailey, obviously. These guys make so much money that you got to go, look, we're going to play kids until you guys can actually hit. We'll give you specialists to hang out with you.
Though, Bob, I think you can interchange some of that. I think you could bring in Eldridge up and interchange him DH in one game playing first base and kind of in and out with Devers. But then what are you going to do with Casey Schmidt? So maybe you try to move Matt Chapman. There's a lot of teams that would love to have Matt Chapman. You put Casey Schmidt as your future third baseman. There are ways that this could happen. But again, is it that drastic right now in 33 games that we're talking about this? It's not even May. It's the beginning of May. Yeah. And what I'm saying here in the month of May, at the end of May, maybe we talk about that. But I think May is a crucial month for this team because you're playing the NL West. And you're playing teams that you're going to go over, come to compete with, try to beat them, because you got 4 teams above you. And I'm saying the Rockies are above you right now. and you're buried in the last place. So the only way up is to start competing a little better, and that starts on Monday with 3 games against San Diego when the Padres come in here. The Padres are playing good baseball.
Yes. And, the thing I can say is, it's cold at the park, and it's like, the management, if the product isn't good, man, I mean, I can tell you, I can watch these other teams. Unfortunately, I enjoy watching the Dodgers and watching the best baseball player of our era, of our lifetime, smack home runs. Obviously, I'm excited when they lose, but watching good players play the game, and it's getting old when the product is stale. So they have to fix their product a little bit, and
it has to get better. It has to, Bob. It has to. But you know what, Bob? Some great points. I just don't know if they're ready to make the change of a rebuild or anything of that nature. I think they're going to ride this out for a while, and then see how May is going to go. If it gets better, see how June does, and then maybe in the middle of June when trading deadline comes, I think that's when you're going to have to make that decision. What you're talking about. Because at that time, you're going to have guys that are going to be teams are going to be all over Arise. Maybe teams are all going to be over Chapman. It's going to be difficult to move Adames and Devers' contract unless you eat a lot of it. So a lot of it down the road, but I don't think this team's going to do anything like that. And I don't think management is ready to give up on these players. But, Bob, good stuff tonight. I appreciate your call. Let's go out to Tracy and talk to Joe. Joe, you're on our next Inning post-game show. How are you doing this evening, Joe?
I'm doing good. My name's Joel, but no worries. I don't care. I talked to you a couple of years ago. Played in the minors a lot of years, and I got to say a name before I get to my point. Tim Ireland.
I know him well, Mr. Garlic.
Yeah,
I played with Tim. I played with Tim in AAA, and he used to eat a raw piece of garlic most of the time right before the game, and the whole dugout would go, "Come on, Timmy, what are you doing?" Ireland was one of the best players that gave you every day 100%.
He did. Growing up with him, we played in the minors together as well as went to high school. And I asked him if he knew you last time we talked a couple of years ago. He goes, "Oh, yeah." I think it was 88 or something like that. I looked it up. Yeah. Anyway, my point on this, and I played a lot. I don't want to talk about me, but I hit 18 home runs in the Cal League. And there's two theories of hitting, right? Or two main concepts. Get a good pitch to hit us with 2 strikes. And we talked about this 2 years ago. They're doing the same damn thing. They're swinging the pitches out of the zone before 2 strikes. And I see guys take fastballs with, 2 strikes. Because they're getting
right down the middle. How about that? Some of them are right down the middle, Joe, and they watch them. And I'm like, I wish I got away with those. It seemed like every time I threw one of those, I'd be backing up third. But so how do you fix it, Joe? Let me ask you. You're a hitter. You're a minor league hitter, big league hitter. But how do you fix that? How do you tell hitters to a different approach, a different adjustment? Because I hear callers saying you can't change. Yes, you can change. I've watched it. You watched it. You can change. You can make adjustments.
Well, Ted Williams, best hitter all time, he said the secret to hitting is getting a good pitch to hit with the balls in the strike zone. I'm sure you've seen it. And they need the pitching. I mean, the hitting coaches should emphasize and get back to basics. Get a good pitch to hit up until 2 strikes. You don't have to swing unless it's in the window. But with 2 strikes, you got to protect the plate to a certain degree. I hate that word protect, but you don't guess. But these guys want to hit home runs, so they're going to guess. And every 7th pitch, they'll guess right and maybe hit one. And my other point is, it's a competitive sport. We grew up playing. You had to compete to win your job. There's a lot of lethargic folks out there because they're penciled in every day. I know it's necessary to have a good lineup, but these guys, if they're not threatened for their job or have to compete, I don't see the incentive. I just don't see the incentive, and I'm talking about
Joe. Do you think they get complacent? Do you think hitters get complacent sometimes and saying, "Hey, I'm going to do what I did all the way in the last couple of years. I know I'm going to get out of a slump. I know I can hit the ball better." Do they listen a little bit more to hitting coaches and maybe different theories, or do you think they're stuck with their same, thought pattern going up to the plate every time?
Well, you're only supposed to have 1 or 2 swing thoughts, right? You leave that on the on-deck circle. But I think these guys need to get back to the basics and realize maybe they'll sit for a game or two if they don't produce. and I don't think there's that fear in them. I know, I'm sure at some point in time in your career, if you didn't start winning or throw the ball right, you might not get in that lineup for another 10 days. And
it happens. And it happens, and you get opportunities, and there's a small window of opportunity if you're trying to make that team, or if you're on the threshold of maybe getting sent back down to AAA. You know, I look at Ryan Barucki, and I see him coming in today's game, and I'm like, okay, are they showboating him? Are they giving him one more chance?
Right.
Could he be the lefty taken out? I mean, I'm looking at different things. Will Brennan gets an at-bat. Is he another guy that's on the verge of going back to AAA? Encarnacion playing right field here and there, getting a pinch hit. These guys are all on that edge. And you know it as well as I do, Joe. When you're on the edge, you're gripping the bat a little tighter. You're swinging late, and you can't get your timing on. And I don't think fans understand this, Joe. Timing is everything for a hitter.
It is. It is. And, you know, we talk about walks being as good as a hit. That's an old adage. Understand the concept.
Sure it is.
It's really not true in baseball. It's really not true in baseball. Yes, we need runners. We need guys walking. Traditionally, it was the first couple hitters, right? Get on base for the horses. But, you know, baseball, there's a momentum in baseball. And you've seen it already with the Giants, once a couple guys get a hit, it's totally different than two guys walking. It just is. You know, because and that's real baseball, right? I mean, you know, you're not going to walk yourself to home plate. Yeah, we want base runners. But my gosh, you know, once you get a couple hits together, then everybody feels they can hit it, and the pitcher's starting to push and press and maybe throwing the ball over the middle of the plate too much, right? So,
Joe, you know, Bruce Bochy's big line: keep the line moving, which only means get on, get over, keep them going, keep it going. And you just said it, because this is what happens with a team that they're falling backwards, and you get one guy to get a hit, next guy gets a double, next guy gets a hit, knocks them both in. Everybody's running to the batting box. Everybody's grabbing their bat. They want to hit. And this team can do that. Yes.
I don't think it's the manager, like you mentioned earlier. He doesn't have the bat in his hand or the glove in his hand, right? And I'm sure there's a learning curve. I would imagine these players probably have a little less respect for him because he didn't do it like they did. But I think you nailed it. The complacency's there. The complacency's there with the guys that have already won their job. And
that's the difficult part. That is the difficult part. Yeah. And it's difficult for a new hitting coach to come in here. You know, it's difficult with new faces, new theories, new ways of approach, new ways of listening to what we'd love you to try to do. It's tough to change older players when they're 28, 29, and 30, and they've been successful. Joe, you understand exactly what I'm saying. These guys are thought their way, and this is the way I'm going to hit. I'm going to come out of it. I know I'll do it.
Maybe they're, 29 and 30, 31 is supposed to be their prime, but, maybe they're a little tired. So what's wrong with sitting them once in a while? There's plenty of young talent.
I've been saying that the whole time. You got to give them a day off. Devers has been in every game. Chapman was DH and Casey Smith played third. They finally rested Adames last Sunday. I've been saying that for the first 30 games. You got to get these guys off their feet one game, get them off the field, maybe give them a rest day. And I've been saying it, give them Sunday, and when they have Monday travel day or Monday off, give them 2 days off because you come back with more of a fire. And it doesn't matter how old you are or how good you are. You need a day off. You need a mental day off.
I agree 100%. I mean, you played in the minor leagues. You play 132 games in 129 days. It was too much, right? I mean, you're worn out. But these guys are playing.
And the same thing, when I was in the big leagues having over 30 starts. I did 30 starts or more, and there was times, boom, I was right back in a bullpen 2 days off, and I used to tell my pitching coach, I'm just going to throw to warm up. I do not need to work on things because I just threw a good game. I don't want to overachieve in a bullpen. And you probably did the same thing as hitting. Some days you need hitting off. You don't need to go in and hit every day. There's days when managers used to say, no hitting today. We're going to come in, stretch, and go right at it. And I think maybe that could happen with this team.
Well, we did it automatically because our pitching coach in the Florida State League was Marcel Latchman, and he threw no hitters in BP. So we didn't want to hit off him, right? And but Marcel, great guy. Yeah,
great guy, and I can see him doing that too, Joe. I can see him just rearing up and firing. I can see that, and then he'd look at you probably twice, going, "What do you mean? It's right there." Well, Joe, thanks for the call, man. Thanks for the call, Joe. It's good stuff, and please call me during the season, and we can talk a little bit more. But I appreciate it, and if you see Timmy or talk to him, make sure you tell him I said hello. All right, coming up, let's go to Manny. He's in San Francisco. Manny, on a Saturday, fired up crude on the phone calls. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Bill? It's Manny.
How you doing, Manny?
I got a new phone. No breakdowns now, okay?
Oh, man, you are the man. All of a sudden, you bought a new phone, and now we don't have to hear you crackle and kickle.
That's right. Hey, first of all, I want to start off. This year, I'm assisting Coach Matt at Hero for the Base Burglar Little League baseball team. We won today.
Good.
Came from behind. Great game. Assistant Coach Matt.
That's
also
good for you, Manny.
With us. Okay.
Good for you,
so
Manny. That's really good to go back in and teach and help kids. I always respect a lot of people that do that, and they do it from the kindness of your heart and also to give back to kids. So, Manny, I pat you on the back on that one.
That's right. We were there at the game too the other day with the parade and all. Anyway.
Oh,
so
that's it. Those are fun times, aren't they?
Yes. So I just want to reflect on how I think a lot of this right now the Giants are I feel like in a mind bog. And you guys just touched on a few good things where it seems like the guys are there. It's hard to take reference from the new coach, and the new coach it is a learning curve, and he's got a teaching from coming from a different perspective, but learning. Right. And I think a lot of the team is also trying to learn his style. We got a lot of history as coaching right now with us, and you're getting it from Baker, from Bochy, Washington, and then you got younger coaches in there. So I think right now that the Giants are kind of like, who do we take the understanding from? And you don't want to disrespect anyone, but I think and even Chapman and Arias and all those guys are there, but you know what I'm saying, I think they're too spread off. I think somebody has to take a step in and get the whole team.
Yeah, Manny, I'm hearing exactly what you're saying, and Tony Vitello took this job on with a big issue, but by not being in the minor leagues as a manager, as a coach, never even been in the big leagues. His first spring training game, that was his first spring training he ever went to. A lot of firsts for him, right? A lot of firsts. Yes. But he also took it upon himself to say, hey, I got to jump into this and make sure these players believe in me and have confidence in me. What's the troubling part of this are these losing streaks. He's never had losing streaks like this in college. He was a .750 winning percentage college coach. Right. He's had three times already, they've lost 4 straight. Today, the first time they lost 5 straight. In all the years he's coached, he's never had this. And he's got a whole team of big league players, understanding that they've been in the big leagues 8, 9, 10 years. And he's got to go and talk to them and say, hey, everything's all right, we'll be fine. But one of the questions they asked him tonight in the postgame show is the confidence of your team falling. And he said, no, we're okay. It's just we got to play better. Well, that's not the answer I'm looking for. I'm looking for, exactly. We don't have the confidence because we're not showing it.
Have it.
He needs to say this. You know, he needs to say something, and not just the sugarcoating. He needs to call out some people and say, look, I know we're not hitting, and I know I got some of the best hitters in this clubhouse. They need to be a little better. That's all you got to say. You're not going to throw them under the bus. You're not going to throw them under, but you got to push them a little bit. And the fans need to hear this.
Yes, and I think you're absolutely right. And yet I think he's watching his tongue because he's got Washington, he's got Bochy, he's got who am I missing?
Oh, he's got them all, and that's why Buster brought Bochy back and Dusty back and Ron Washington back, Ron Wotus. I mean, you got a list of guys that have so many years in that clubhouse and in that dugout, and he needs to sit down and listen to them a little more. I know Dusty gave him a list of things could happen during the season, and I think they need to sit down and say, this is what needs to happen here. You're going backwards instead of forward. You're taking one step forward and then 3 steps backward. You can't do that as a manager in the big leagues. You have to stop the bleeding.
You got to stop it. And I think that's the perfect analogy. And maybe it's just him sitting down with those guys and the coach, and the coaches all just getting and airing things out so they can get more adhesive, so that they can bring that to the team. Because once you get that to the team, I think the team
start taking it. We saw them take off. Manny, we saw them take off. They won 3 series in a row. When they left for Philadelphia, I'm like, okay, here we go. Let's take 3 from Philadelphia. They were 9-19, and it backfired.
Yeah, it backfired. And I think they just don't, like you said, what the team needs to hear is not coming from the manager. It's not coming, and they need to hear it. And maybe he needs to boost the confidence to say, hey, that's your team. Do it so that they know that you're there.
And you know what, Manny? Maybe he's done it. We don't know if he's done it yet. We don't. I've not been in a clubhouse. I'm not in that dugout. You aren't. We're watching it, but I'm watching the emotions. I'm watching the faces. I'm watching these guys in the dugout. I'm watching Logan Webb after the doubleheader loss, sitting there with his hoodie on, and the only one in the dugout looking out. That's showing me something. That's showing me something today when I see Ramos's head down, Devers' head down.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing these guys' emotion showing me their stress. And when that ball that hit the catwalk and that whole dugout erupted, whoo, that was emotion right there for me.
Yeah. Well, and right there, that's right. A perfect example. Ramos was like, something wasn't right there. And it was like you get, and everyone needed to get a part of that, to be a part of that. And it only seemed like certain people were a part of that, and they needed to do that. So, and like you said, we're not in the dugout, but you know what? After the game, that should be one main focus of that.
Hey, I'm watching it just like you're watching it, Manny. Fans are watching it. Emotions, dilemma of what you're doing. You're losing. And you know what? You're showing it, and that's what I'm watching, and that's telling me there's a lot of press. There's a lot of pressure in that clubhouse, and they want to win. We all know they want to win.
Yeah, we do.
How are they going to do it, though? That's the question. They need to turn it around.
That's the thing. I think if we just, I'm not saying the team is not all together. I personally think we have a decent team. And a decent team that can produce, I think we have. It's just getting everybody. I don't think we're all on the same page. I don't think we're all doing what we do. When we see, people doing what Jung Ho Lee is he's lighting it up. I'm good. Areas, they're doing their thing. Now it's just the little things that are just spaced out need to be more gelled.
Well, Manny, it's not 1 or 2 guys, right? It's not 1 or 2 guys. It's the whole 9 guys. You got one guy getting hot, the next guy's not. We keep diving into Devers and Adames, and I'm throwing numbers out like they're 10 for 80, and that's just not good baseball hitting.
That's not
and these
good.
guys are a lot better
ball.
than that. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Manny, your phone works well. Your phone works well, Manny, and I thank you for buying a new phone for me.
just for you. I told them, hey, I need to get on the radio and talk to Bill.
There you go.
Like he can hear me. They said, we got you.
All right. Well, Manny, thanks for calling in. And like I said, you got a good phone, so you can call me more on weekends. But thanks again, my friend, and I appreciate everything you brought tonight. All right, we're going to stop now and take a break. And next up, a good conversation with one young hitter named Jesus Rodriguez. I've been saying his name on the whole show, a possibility of maybe seeing him come up. He's hitting the hell out of the ball in Sacramento. A one-on-one conversation with Jesus Rodriguez coming up next right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on KNBR.
This is the flagship of Giants baseball. Double play! KNBR and KNBR FM, San Francisco, the sports leader.
and get to.
You're listening to the former Giants righty. It's KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Heard on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show with Bill Laskey. I'm honored to have a guest on. Of course, he was on last year on the show once he got traded over from the Yankees. Let's bring in Jesus Rodriguez. Jesus, how are you today?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Jesus, I want to go back. Venezuela wins the WBC. Of course, you were born in Venezuela. How excited were you for them to win that?
Oh man, that was exciting. That was great. Great for my country. Everybody was happy. We were celebrating. So yeah, it was a great time.
Is this something that you might entertain later in your career to play for Venezuela?
Yeah, I mean, there's always that dream. Every kid that's coming from Venezuela, everybody wants to play in the World Baseball Classic for them. So yeah, of course, I would love to one day be playing for them too.
Jesus, you were born in La Victoria, Venezuela. Tell me where that's located.
That's kind of like in between Maracay and Caracas. It's like an hour away from each of those. Yeah, it's like small town. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of like in between those two.
Well, you were signed by the New York Yankees at 17 years old. You ended up playing in Dominican Summer League for a couple years. Were you excited when they came with a contract? Were you ready to play pro ball?
Yeah, I mean, I was 16 years old when I signed with them. My first year in pro ball was when I was 17. But yeah, that was always my dream to play for a team here in the States, in the big leagues. And obviously, when they came to me and offered me that the opportunity of play for them, always it was a blessing. So I took it, and yeah, I was excited.
Well, Jesus, you played a couple summers in the Dominican, then you ended up coming over to the United States. A different way of living here, a different style of living, away from your family. Difficult for you at that time?
There's always, the difficult part, but like I think I was used to it because always when I was a little kid, I was always traveling, and like obviously my dad, my parents, they couldn't like travel with me every time, so I was like going by myself, obviously with coaches and other people, but like yeah, I was kind of used to it, to be alone and like doing my thing. Even when I was a little kid, 7, 8 years old, I was away from home for like 2 weeks, and that kind of like gets me ready for those things. Even when I was in the DR, I was by myself, so yeah, I think
Yeah, a
I
lot of
was ready.
time being independent by yourself, trying to figure out how do I do things, washing your clothes, going to the restaurant, going to the grocery stores, things that you don't imagine until you do it. And that's something you had to grow on.
Yeah, I mean, there's always mom there. Thanks God, I always can call her and ask her for things that I don't know how to do. Yeah, I always call her and, hey mom, how can I do this? How can I cook this? So yeah, she helped me a lot on those things.
Jesus Rodriguez joined me on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. You play about 4 or 5 years with the New York Yankees. Of course, last year, July 31st, you get traded to the San Francisco Giants. I know nobody's expecting to be traded. Nobody thinks that you're going to be traded. How was your thoughts on when they told you you were traded?
I mean, I was kind of shocked actually because the deadline is like at 6 o'clock, I think.
Right.
And like 6 o'clock went by and nobody called me. Nobody told me anything. Obviously, the manager at the time told me like at 3 o'clock. He told me, hey, you might get traded, so stay here until 6 o'clock, and then you can go. You can go home if you don't get traded. So that way you don't have to come in again and like pick up your stuff and do that thing. So just be aware that you might get traded. And obviously, I stayed there until 6 o'clock. Take a shower. 6:30, I left, and they called me at like 7. So yeah, that kind of shocked me a lot. And like I was ready before that, and then 6 o'clock went by, and then obviously I said that I wasn't gonna trade, and I wasn't gonna get traded, and like I relaxed, and then they called me and they told me, and it was like damn. But yeah, I mean, happy, when they told me that I was coming here, everybody told me that this was a great organization, so I was happy and excited to be here and see what happened.
Well, it worked out great because you came over and played in Sacramento. And in the month of September, they brought you up to the big leagues to work on defense and watch the big league game, being part of the major league roster at the end of the year, being on the 40-man roster. But when you came up for that month of September, you got to see the clubhouse. You got to meet some of the big leaguers. That was a big adjustment for you. How did that go for you?
That went really well, actually. That went really well. I got to meet everybody there. Obviously, they made a couple changes this year, but like I think there's pretty much the same team. So yeah, it was good to like get to know them, and so that way I was ready for this year. Get to spring training, get to know everybody a little bit better, and they know me already too. So I wasn't like that new guy when I came to spring training. So I really appreciate that they called me over there and get to know the team, get to know the vibes there, and yeah, I'll be ready for this year.
Well, Jesus, we started talking about Venezuela. I played winter ball in Venezuela, a great, great league, a lot of big leaguers, and you did the same this past winter. You ended up doing very well, and you ended up hitting, I don't know, 280, something like that. But it was an opportunity to face some big league pitchers, get some opportunities to play different positions. Were you excited to go back into the homeland and play winter ball?
Yeah. I had my first taste of winter ball in 2023,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to go back and get to work there. Obviously, stay ready, get seeing pictures, seeing games, and like obviously I wanted to get the experience that I go there and play a lot of defense behind the plate. They didn't give me the opportunity to do it, but like I had a great time. And I wasn't playing that much, but like I took it like an off season, so I was training every day, doing my running, my defense, my lifting, and so I was ready for the spring training this year. But I was just with the team, and I wasn't playing that much. But yeah, it was a great time. Yeah.
When you play winter ball, Jesus, the big advantage is coming into spring training because you're facing live pitching in November, December, even in January, and you come in to spring training with an opportunity to show Buster Posey, of course, the new manager, Tony Vitello, and the hitting coaches that you can play. And man, you shined in spring training. 37 at bats, 13 hits. You hit 350, 4 doubles, 2 home runs, 1 ball still leaving Mesa. I still don't know where that ball landed. You hit it so hard. But you had a real good spring. And I think the ability to go into that clubhouse, as you said, being relaxed around the players, getting to know them was an advantage. How was it walking into spring training, having the eyes on you, a little more pressure?
I mean, I know that they were looking at me, watching me and trying to see if I was ready for the big league. So I just in my mind, I went there and I just said, hey, I'm just gonna do my job. I don't care if they watching me, they don't watching me. If they want me to stay in the team, I don't care about that. I just wanna do what I know that I can do. And after the spring training is done, if they wanna keep me on the team or they send me to AAA, I'm gonna be ready for everything.
Jesus, last year
that
we
was my
talked.
mentality.
Yeah, Jesus, we talked last year about your ability to hit. And when you look at numbers, and I love looking at numbers and reflecting on some of the things you did. And when you look at your minor league numbers, just phenomenal. 34 home runs, 238 RBIs, stolen bases, the speed of you, 73 stolen bases. You're hitting 311. And everywhere you went, it seems like you hit 300. What is it that you have to adjust to? And to every pitcher coming in, every time on the on deck circle, what is the mental part of the game being up there and being able to hit like you do?
Yeah, I mean, I always say to everybody that I don't think about mechanics when I go there. I just trying to be that confident and like know that the training that I did before the game is gonna help me in the game. So I'm just gonna there and trust it. And I feel like I was being really good my whole career and like get to the play and have that confidence that I'm gonna get a good result. Even when the games doesn't go my way or I got 2 weeks doing not so great, I'm just keeping my confidence up and believing in myself that I can get a good result. It doesn't matter who's strong in the mound actually.
I was looking at a few videos of you, Jesus, and your stance is so strong. You have a little leg kick, but your upper body doesn't move, and you go the opposite way well, and you take that inside pitch and you drive it. I saw a home run ball at Sutter Health Ballpark. You didn't miss that pitch. Is the timing off of your front foot? How is the timing that you keep your hands back so well?
Yeah, it's kind of like a double timing. I don't know how to explain it, but like, yeah, it's something that keeps me on rhythm. That I feel like that's the key part of my hitting, like having rhythm and doesn't flow like a river. I would say it like that. It's just about that. Always my body feels relaxed when I go there in those places. So yeah, I mean, it's just all about that. It's just about keep rhythm and trying to stay relaxed and then explode to the ball.
Well, so far with the Sacramento River Cats, you guys played 20 games. You're hitting 346, 2 home runs, 4 doubles. One of the numbers that jumps off at me is only 9 strikeouts. You do put the ball in play at all times. And a lot of times the secondary pitches are the ones that you have to try to foul off or put in play. Secondary pitches that you're facing, the curveball, the slider, even the split finger. Again, how do you approach those pitches?
Yeah, you just trying to be ready for his fastball always, and then with with that timing that I got, I feel like I can wait for the other pitches too when I can recognize them and like I recognize them well. Obviously, they're gonna go uh forward, but when I cannot, I feel with my rhythm like I can like still throw the hands to the ball and at least foul it off or just put it in play if I need to. But yeah, it's all about that. It's all about my mechanics and all the work that I put on it. Uh, yeah.
Jesus Rodriguez joining me on the Extra Inning postgame show for a few more minutes. Let's talk defense because I think you probably have every glove in your bag from playing catcher, outfield, infield. It's an adjustment for you, especially jumping to different positions. In spring training, you played third base, second base, you played left field, as well as your primary position being a catcher. Things change during a game. Lineups are always changed. It's a different approach when you're playing different positions. How hard is that for you?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. You gotta be ready for everything, like you said. There's always changes. There's always gonna be the guy that they're gonna need in emergencies. If the third base, uh, something happened to the third base, second base, left field, center field, they always know that they can go to me and I can play those positions. So yeah, I mean, always putting as much as I can as a catcher, but always having in the back of my mind that I gotta be ready for those positions. And when I go there and play them, it's just having fun because those were the positions that I played when I was a little kid, and it's always good to go there and play them. But yeah, always having that mindset that trying to do my best work that I can, but having fun at the same time.
Hey, Zeus, as we finish up, I got to ask you, you must love hitting at Sutter Health Ballpark because you're hitting 385 there in the beginning of the season, 17 for 42. I mean, you're just mashing the ball there. Is there something about Sutter Health Ballpark, maybe the background, something maybe you're more comfortable about? What is it about that ballpark that you just love driving the pitches?
I mean, I just feel like always at home is like, get you got the cages before the game always. Sometimes in like here in like other places you don't get to eat before the game. You just sit 2 hours before the game, then you sit there and go to the game and trying to warm up again and then go swinging. Always at home you got that advantage and always get to know the park too. Yeah, I mean it's great to be there.
You just love wearing that Sacramento River Cat home uniform. That's what it is.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Jesus, I want to thank you for joining me today. Stay healthy. We're looking forward to seeing you in that Giants uniform soon. And keep hitting, my friend, because you can mash.
All right, appreciate it.
That was Jesus Rodriguez on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with former Giants right-hander Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Hear him on your Apple HomePod by saying play KNBR. Play KNBR.
All right, back on the Extra Inning post-game show on a Saturday. What a great show it's been. How can you not cheer for Jesus Rodriguez? What a great kid, 24 years old, just a fabulous, good little conversation with him. I hope you enjoyed it. But, you know, as that interview was going on, I was just telling my producer, Ryan, I had a good handful of text messages, had a good handful of DMs, direct messages, and a lot of people said I handled it very well. You know what? I'm handling passion from callers. That's what I'm handling. I'm handling you as a fan that's upset. And I'm upset too. We all want this team to win. We see the ability of these players. We see the passion of these players. These players don't go out to lose every game. These players want to win. And you can see it in their expressions. And each day they try to turn it on. Each day they walk away from that clubhouse and walk in with a brand new attitude. That's all we're asking. All we're asking for them to give us 100%. And as fans and analysts, that's all we can look at. But don't get upset when you call me and scream at me. I'm the guy. You can scream at me all night. But just remember one thing. I might scream back at you. And if I do, there's a point to it. But I want to listen to you. I want to understand you. And I think the best thing to do is pick up that phone and call me. I'm here every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays. I'm doing Friday Sports Phone KNBRs. Don't get upset at yourself. Call me and tell me why. Tell me what upsets you. And tonight was one of those nights, and I appreciate that. Coming up next, I sit down with Johnny Gomes. He was a World Series champion with the Boston Red Sox in 2013. Of course, he's from Petaluma. He also played with the Tampa Bay Devil Rays when he first started. So sit back. I got a conversation with Johnny Gomes coming up next right here on the Extra Inning Postgame Show on KNBR.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. sound right, boy.
KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey keeps the postgame rolling live right here.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
On KNBR 104.5 FM and 680 AM, the sports leader.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning postgame show with Bill Laskey. I'm delighted to bring a friend on. He played 13 years in Major League Baseball. He was a World Series champion in 2013 with the Boston Red Sox. Northern California owned. Let's bring in Johnny Gomes. Johnny, how are you today?
Right on schedule. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Hey, let's go back in time, man. You grew up in Petaluma, Northern California. Tell me a little bit about your childhood.
Man, Northern California was awesome. That it's not now. Obviously changed. A lot of places have. But, man, up there, I didn't know how good I had it until I left. I remember landing in Florida for the first time and just being able to see for miles on that first airplane ride. They obviously didn't have any hills. They didn't have hills wrapped in grapes. They didn't have the Four Seasons bounced around. But, yeah, man, I mean, I was local for a long time. Cardinal Newman, my freshman year, Casa Grande the rest of the way, and then Santa Rosa Junior College. So all right there.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I want to go right there. In high school, did you play many sports? You probably had to play football, baseball, anything else?
Tell you what, man, if you didn't, you weren't an athlete.
Sure.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you remember back in the day, the Letterman jacket.
Sure.
Basically, how many stars and stripes could you get? You had the track and field foot. You had the soccer ball, baseball, basketball, football. You had all your accolades on it. Yeah, man, that's how we did it back then.
It was, and it was good times, and you reflected very well on it. So you end up going to Santa Rosa Junior College, a route that I love doing. I went to a junior college too, and I always tell kids in high school, if you want to continue to play, don't think you're going to be a D1 athlete coming out of high school. Not too many do, but going to a junior college, you didn't do well your freshman year, your sophomore year, you kicked it in. Tell me the difference from high school going to a junior college.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I didn't do well, like right out of the gate. But it was all on me. It wasn't the coaches. It wasn't the team. It was all on me. I still had some stuff to iron out. And I tell you what, Damon Nylinger, who's still there with an outstanding program, Santa Rosa Junior College, ironed it out for me, man. He showed me what I needed to do, where I needed to go. And then it was up to me to fix it, right? I mean, he laid out the plan for me. I was kind of dipping on my backside, didn't have a lot of rotation, blah, 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 all this stuff. And I knew deep down, I was like, if I can figure this out, I might be a problem. If I can figure this out, because I checked everything else off. Running, I was pretty quick. I was athletic. I was strong. I was healthy. Everything was there. And, the only base you can't steal is first. And I was having a tough time getting on first. But, I was able to figure my swing out. I took one day off from freshman year to sophomore year. And I remember it. That was it. I was like, all right, I'm going to take one day off. I did no baseball activities and literally did baseball activities for 3 months.
Well, Johnny, you figured it out real well. You hit 356 your sophomore year, 9 home runs, and the draft comes around. And what happens in 2001? The Tampa Bay team picks you up, the Rays. Back then it was a Devil Rays. Were you excited about the draft? Did you think you had enough in your tank after your sophomore year to be drafted?
Man, it was so foreign to me. You're talking before MLB Network and before the internet and before Perfect Game and all this stuff. Yeah, so I showed up at camp, the West Coast workout with Tampa, where there was a lot of guys all over the West Coast, all the hotshot guys. And, I didn't really feel overwhelmed. There were some guys better than me there for sure, but I didn't feel too overwhelmed.
Well, you end up signing and you go to minor leagues. And now you're seeing all the talent that Tampa Bay had drafted. And you were a late down draft, 18th round. So there was a lot of guys in front of you that you had to pretty much open eyes on coaches. And like you said, you prioritized batting, and your defense was very good. What did you see when you went in the minor league saying, hey, I got to do this. I got to gravitate this more to move up. And you did very well.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, so that was back when the Tampa Bay Rays, they were getting the first overall or the second overall pick for about 10 straight years. So I show up, and there's a Josh Hamilton, there's a Rocco Baldelli, there's a Carl Crawford, all top picks. I remember thinking, like, man, these guys are this good in A-ball and rookie ball. Like, what's the big leagues like? It was a unique situation with so many high draft picks. But I just kept my head down, man. I just kept my head down. You know, I told myself, I'll give myself 5 years, 1 year per level, 6 max. If it doesn't work, we'll figure out what's next. But I look down and I look up September 12th of 2003. About a year and a half later, I'm in Yankee Stadium for my first at bat.
Yeah, that's impressive right there, especially only going a couple of years through the minor leagues, and you were hitting bombs back there in the minor leagues. RBIs was simple task for you, and you end up going to the big leagues in the month of September. When you saw the big leagues, when you saw those pitchers throwing, were you excited to get in that box? Did you want to say, hey, I can do this? Or was it a little nervous for you where, can I do this? Was the anxiety kind of second guessing you?
You know what? I don't think it was. You know, when I signed up, all I really wanted was the opportunity. And the crazy thing is, I didn't have goals past one day in the big leagues. All along, all the work I put in, all the RBIs, all the home runs, I just wanted to get to the big leagues. You know, and I don't know what, because I didn't think of anything past that. So once I got into the big leagues, day one was a little bit overwhelming, but then I just figured I had house money. You know, I just figured I had house money, rode a couple of the years out, then start to see the business side of things, then start and bounce around. But, you know, after I got that first year first day in the big leagues, then I was like, all right, we got to win this whole thing. Because, you know, winning is the only anniversary in baseball. That's how you get remembered forever. I was fortunate to go to the World Series in 2008 real early with the Rays. Probably the best thing could have happened was losing it. And then proceeded to go to the playoffs a couple more times after that, about 6 times.
Johnny Gomes joining me on the Extra Inning postgame show. You get to play in Tropicana Field, a hard field, a dome field. Some guys liked it, some guys didn't. It was a turf field. What did you think of that ballpark when you walked in?
Not ideal, but I tell you what, you just always knew what you were getting, right? You're not getting overcast, you're not getting rain, you're not getting hot, you're not getting cold, controlled environment. The catwalks are a little difficult, you know, to kind of get your eyesight in the outfield down, but the batter's eye was good, and you knew what you were going to get. You also knew you weren't going to get a whole lot of fans. So there's no ambushing here and there, but I tell you what, those fans in Tampa came out once we started winning. Well,
they liked you a lot. In 2005, you had 21 home runs. 2006, you had 20. 2017, you had 17. And I got to ask you, you hit 2 home runs on the catwalk way up in the hell in Tropicana. That's a ball that's blasted. When you hit it, you had to have known you got it good. But what did you think of it when it landed up there?
Yeah, well, I tell you, it was a lot more than 2. I think I still hold the record there, career-wise. I think I have 13 catwalk hits.
Wow, even better.
I think number 2 is Longoria, around 6 or 7. So I got him on that. He got me on everything else. That catwalk was getting hit quite a bit from us, and definitely on the other side, the early years of Tampa. With the big Yankees and Red Sox, you got Big Papi and Jason Giambi and Travis Hafner and Sheffield and all those big donkeys coming in. But yeah, it was definitely unique.
Johnny, you played outfield most of your career. You tried to play a little infield later in your career, mostly outfield, left field, and right field. And really, 13 seasons you played in the big leagues, you only had 19 errors. And probably a lot of those were throwing errors. How did you like playing the outfield in the big leagues? Was it easy? Was it okay? A lot of different ballparks to play in, a lot of different angles. How did you play both corners of outfield?
I mean, believe it or not, that was probably the most work I put into my game. I mean, I'll be completely honest. I was a defensive liability early on in my career, and then turned in 2013 down the stretch with the Red Sox. I'm getting put in for defense. So it was a grind. It really was. I think, there was only a handful, maybe like 2 or 3 games I ever played at night, even before going to play pro ball. You got guys playing at night at 8 years old now.
Yeah.
So that was different, getting adjusted to the lights. Gosh, getting adjusted to these guys smashing the ball. I mean, way north of 100 miles per hour exit velocity, playing left, playing right, trying to figure out the angles and the slices. I grinded in the outfield. I really did. Converted catcher early on, so I had a lot of work through this. Wasn't the best, but playing 13 years in the big leagues, that wasn't too much of what.
Johnny Gomes joined me for a few more minutes on the Extra Inning post-game show. You went on to several other teams. You mentioned the Red Sox, a World Series championship in 2013. What a run the Red Sox had that year. And, of course, winning the World Series in Boston. What an exciting time for you. Tell me a little bit about that season and the World Series on top of it.
Yeah, right. Having the opportunity to play for the Red Sox, oldest tradition in baseball, Fenway. It's basically a national monument you get to call home for the baseball field. Sox Nation, the fan base. Real lucky for the opportunity to go there and play. Started off a little hairy. Go back to 2013. That was when that Boston Marathon bombing happened on Patriots Day.
Right.
So things got a little bit hairy early on. City rallied around us from that event. We rallied around the city. We were good. We got David Ortiz, we got Pedroia, we got John Lester, JT, John Lackey, Stephen Berry, Mike Napoli, David Ross. It goes on and on how deep that team was. But, what a ride. What a ride.
Well, Johnny, as we finish up here, I love looking at statistics on pitchers that you raked. And there was one guy that you raked pretty well, and his name was Andy Pettit. 11 for 34, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 10 RBIs. You hit 325 off them. Let me throw you another name, Randy Wolf, 13 for 24, 542 off of Randy Wolf. 2 left-handers that you love to hit. Tell me a little bit about what you saw in them when you came to the plate.
Yeah, I tell you what, which was funny was early on in my career, I hit a home run off B.J. Ryan. B.J. Ryan was this big, hairy, hard-throwing left-hander. And I hit a home run off him, and I remember all along, they were just like, man, you smash lefties. I was like, I didn't know people smash lefties and not righties or righties and not lefties. So I kind of got this, this stamp put on me that I hit lefties. So I was always in there on lefties and survived and added a bunch of years to my career by hitting lefties. It's kind of method to the madness of where they're pitching it and following the sequence. But, I did enjoy hitting lefties. And at that time, you're talking Andy Pettit. The lefties in the game, you got CC Sabathia, David Price. It didn't stop those lefties. But, those are a couple good names with a couple good stats.
Well, when you finish out your career, you end up coaching for a few years later. Well, what did you want to gain by going back and coaching? What did you like about it, and what did you like about teaching the game to younger kids?
Yeah, I always thought, if you're fortunate to play this game a long time, you owe it to the game and to the next generation to get back that information that you're able to gather. There's a lot of good information on YouTube, a lot of good information, on social media, a lot of good information in books, but there's nothing like playing the game. You have a whole different aspect of education, as you would know from playing the game. So I thought I could owe it to the game by giving that information back. And I really do help advising. I really do help coaching and keeping our game in a good spot.
Johnny, as we finish up here, 13 years, of course, in Major League Baseball, you go on to coach after it. Looking in the rearview mirror, when you're looking at the time you had in the Major League Baseball, what comes up to your mind? How would you thank Major League Baseball for the time that you had in proving that you were a big leaguer?
Yeah. I didn't take a day for granted, I really didn't. I always thought, I was representing Northern California, Costa Grande, Newman, and Center of Junior College. And I was representing the guys that played this game so hard that didn't get the opportunity to make it, whether it was a little bit light of talent or they got injured. So I want to represent all those guys. And, I never wanted to look myself in the mirror when it was all said and done, be like, damn, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. So like I said, man, I just wanted one day in the big leagues, and that parlayed into 13 years. So I'm not complaining about anything. I'm not hoping anything would have went different. I ended up bouncing around. At times it was tough, going from Cincinnati to Washington, Oakland to Boston, Atlanta, all over. But But, I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm super blessed.
Well, Johnny, thank you for your time today and reminiscing on a great career and continued success in whatever you do and teaching the game of baseball, coaching the game. You're a great, great part of the game of baseball.
I appreciate it, man. Good catching up with you.
That was Johnny Gomes on the Extra Inning Postgame Show. More coming up right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Bill is back.
Fired up, bringing it, all excited.
This is KNBR Extra Innings with Bill Laskey.
Sponsored by Lenardi's Markets of the Bay Area. Quite simply, the best.
Listen on your Google Home smart speaker by saying play KNBR.
Welcome back to the Extra Inning Postgame Show as we close out a Saturday. But, boy, bad news as the Giants have lost 5 in a row. One more game tomorrow. First pitch right here at 10:40. And let's hope Tyler Mahle can come out there and do what we know he can do, and that's to get a win. San Francisco Giants today lost 5-1. They're 13-20. They've lost 5 in a row. And tomorrow's the day. Let's hope they get a win. I want to thank my guests today, Jesus Rodriguez and Johnny Gomes. If you missed either one of those, they'll be on the All KNBR podcast. I want to thank my producer today, Ryan McCarthy. Did a fabulous job producing the show and picking up all your phone calls. What a great show it was today, talking to you Giants fans about the passion of being a Giants fan. We'll do it again tomorrow. Right after that game, we'll be having the Extra Inning post-game show. Evan Longoria is going to join me for an interview. Of course, he's being inducted into the Tampa Bay Ray Hall of Fame, and his number 3 will be retired in the month of July. For Bill Laskey, have a great rest of the night, and we'll join right back here tomorrow on the Extra Inning post-game show on KNBR, the sports leader.
It's another great outing for the righty on your home of San Francisco Giants baseball, KNBR 104.5 and 680.